Hey guys, welcome back. Hope all of you are doing good. This is your host Devang Sharma. आज की वीडियो में बात करने वाले हैं very important topic and a very commonly asked interview question about Java. So without a further ado, let's start the video.
Hey guys, let me introduce to a wonderful initiative taken by Newton School. This initiative is called Launchpad. This is for the people who want to start coding from scratch and learn the basics of different programming languages for absolutely free of cost. Yes, I repeat, absolutely free of cost. It has plenty of resources available here, including courses from Java, Python, Node.js, CPP, React.js, and DBMS and SQL management. Also, few of these courses are available in Hindi as well. So what are you waiting for? Applications are open now. Apply today to become a rockstar developer within 6 months.
So welcome back to Newton School Launchpad and our complete professional Java series. This is a complete Java series from a freshman to a professional developer. Irrespective of whether you're a freshman or a junior developer or a senior developer, you will find something related to you that will help you excel in your career. So without a further ado, let's start today's video. Hey guys, start करते हैं अपने 9th video, and this video is going to be on a very important topic and useful topic. So welcome to Complete Java Freshman to Professional Developer series, where either if you are a freshman or a junior developer, senior developer, there is always something for you that will help you to excel in your career. So without a further ado, in this video we're going to talk about access modifiers. So we're going to talk about what are access modifiers, what type of access modifiers are available in Java, how they are used, and what is the scope and what is the use case of using access modifiers in Java. Let's start with the basic thing. What is access modifier? Anything that defines the accessibility or scope of a field. What do I mean by accessibility and scope? कोई भी मेथड, कोई भी कंस्ट्रक्टर, कोई भी वेरिएबल, कोई भी क्लास कहाँ पे वो एक्सेसिबल है, किस पॉइंट पे मैं उसे एक्सेस कर सकता हूँ, किस पॉइंट पे मैं उसे एक्सेस नहीं कर सकता, जो उसका स्कोप ऑफ फील्ड है, that is defined by access modifier. Let's read the statement properly. The access modifiers in Java specify the accessibility or scope of a field, method, constructor, or class. Apart from that, you can change the access level of field, constructor, method, or variable, or a class by applying the access modifier. What kind of access modifiers are there? We are going to see now. Before that, there are two kinds of access modifiers in Java: access modifier and non-access modifier. Let's dig deep down to what kind of access modifiers are there in Java. So basically, there are 4 types of Java access modifiers. What are those 4 types? Let's see. First one is private, default, protected, and public. Let's start one by one and try to understand what does these access modifiers actually mean. And we will see by the code what is the use case of them. Starting with the first, private. The access level of private modifier is only within the class. I repeat, आपने कोई भी variable define किया, method define किया, class define की, which is made private. It can be accessible only within the class. It cannot be accessed from outside the class. Its scope is limited only within the class. Second one is default. So in default, access level default modifier is only within the package. It cannot be accessed outside the package. But अगर एक package के अंदर multiple classes हैं, you can use that modifier inside the other classes in the same package, but nothing outside the different package. Third, and one more thing, since the name is default, so if you don't specify any modifier, it will be default by itself. Third, protected. The access level of protected modifier is within the package and outside the package through the child class. So, if you do not make the child class, it cannot be accessed from the outside package. So, अगर आपके प्रोग्राम में 2 packages हैं, multiple packages हैं, more than 2 packages हैं, so in that case, what you have to do is you have to make a child class. Otherwise, you will not be able to access it via some other package. Last but not the least, public. As the name says, it is public. Access level of public modifier is everywhere. It can be accessed outside the class. It can be accessed within the class. It can be accessed within the package. It can be accessed outside the package. Everywhere it is accessible. Apart from that, there are many more non-access modifiers such as static, abstract, synchronized, जिसके बारे में हमने पिछली वीडियोस में देखा भी है. And if you guys have not seen that video, please do check out the link in the description. Native, volatile, transient, etc. Here we are going to limit our scope only to the access modifiers. So let's see about the scope that we have just discussed. First one is private. So जैसे कि मैंने सोचा था, तो जैसे कि हमने डिस्कस किया था, for an access modifier which is private, it is accessible only within the class, not within the package, not outside the package by subclass, not outside the package. Second, default. In default, it is accessible within the package and within the class, but not outside the package and not outside the package using subclass as well. Third, protected one. It can be used within a class, within a package, and outside of the package by using subclass, but not without the subclass. And last one is public. It can be accessed in any way. It can be used within a class, outside a class, within a package, outside a package, without even using a subclass or a child class. So that's all about a theoretical part. Let's see via the code one by one. Okay, first one is private. As we know, the private access modifier is accessible only within the class. So let's see it by the code. So here we are at the Newton School ID. It has multiple features of multiple languages and input, output, compile messages. Let's see the code for the private access modifiers. So what I'm doing is, my class define करता हूँ यहाँ पे class A, and let me use some of the variables. Let's say मैंने private variable लिया data, and initialize value is 40. Okay. Now what next I do is I create a message here, private void message. Let's say, okay, and I will just print hey, something like this. Okay, now what I do is I define my main class. So my main class, let me create an object of it. So A of object equal to new A. I get an object of it. Now, if I try to print print obj.data, okay, and obj.message. What should happen? What should technically happen? जो मेरी क्लास A है उसके अंदर डेटा किस टाइप का है? What is the access modifier? That access modifier is private type. Similarly, जो मेरा function है message, it is also private type. So if I'm trying to access it outside of the class, my class ends here, my class A ends here. If I'm trying to access the private functions or the private variable outside the class, this should give me an error, a compile time error. So this line number 15 should give me a compile time error, and line number 16 should give me a compile time error. Let's see the output. Okay, compiler has something. See, line number 16 and line number 17, this gave me the error. Let's see what's the error. Data has private access in A. That is why I'm not able to access data here. Apart from that, message has private access in A. So I'm not allowed to use message here outside of the class. That's what we have seen for the private access modifier. Let's see the other ones. We are clear with the private access modifier. Let's move to the second, default access modifier. So if you don't use any modifier, it is treated as default. The default modifier is accessible only within the package. I repeat, within the package. It cannot be accessed from outside the package, and it will provide you more accessibility than a private. Okay, but in terms of the restrictivity, it is more restricted than protected and public. We are going to see with an example. Let's go back there. Okay, so in this case, we have to make different packages. So what I do is, let's say I make it a different package. Let's say package 2 and name it under package 1. Now in my class A, what I have to do is, I will not make it private. I will not make it private as well. So this is a default type and this is our default type. So by default, this access specification will be default, right? It is in package 1, it is in package 2, and let me import the package 1 here. Package 1. So what I have done, I have imported package 1 here, right? Import 1 star. Yeah. I've imported my package 1 here, right? And in this case, if I try to call this function, this will give me a compile time. Why it will give me a compile time error? Because default members cannot be accessed outside the function, right? The scope of class A and its data member and its variable. This data member, the scope of class A and the scope of its variable and methods, these are defined only inside the package, not outside the package. And if I'm using it outside a package, this will give me a compile time error. That is about the default type. Let's talk about the third access modifier, which is the protected type. So in case of protected type access modifier, it is accessible within package and outside the package, but it needs through inheritance only. So it will need a subchild for access outside the package. Apart from that, the protected access modifier, it can be applied on data member, method and constructor, but it cannot be applied on the class. A class cannot be protected. So basically, a class cannot be protected, a data member can be protected, a method can be protected, a constructor can be protected, but a class can never be protected. What is the use case of protected method? What is the use case? It provides you more accessibility than the default modifier. Let's see this with an example. Let's go back to our coding screen. So here we have taken example of the previous one, right? The previous we have two packages. I will use the same example for the protected use case. So now I create another package. I import the first package here. If I want to use it, let's say create a class B here, and this class B extends A. Extends A. Now this program will run successfully. It will not give me an error. Why it will not give me an error? Because now the variables and the methods have been expressly specified as protected. And we know that protected members and protected variables, they can be accessed via different package or outside the package only if they are called through the subchild class. And since we are extending it, so by subchild class, class B is calling these methods. So yes, it can be extended and this program will run successfully. Let's move to the last type. The last type of access modifier is public. Public access modifier is accessible everywhere and has the widest scope among all the modifiers. So it can be accessed inside the class, outside the class, inside the package, outside the package, with the subchild class or without the subchild class. Any cases it can be accessed. Let's see with an example. So we have seen for the protected one, we have seen for default, we have seen for private. Let's come for the public part. So if I just make it public, and if I make it public, now I don't need to extend because I've already made the specifiers as public. If I run this program, this will successfully run and it will give me as output as hey. As you can see, 40 and hey. And then separate lines because I'm using system.out.println, which is next line. So output will be 40 and hey in the next lines. So as you can see, this since we have made the access modifiers as public, it is accessible outside the package as well and without the use of inheritance, without the subject class, right? This is what public access modifier does. Let's revise what we have done. We have talked about different kind of access modifiers in Java: private, default, protected and public. We talked about their scope and the visibility. So private member scope only visible within the class, not within the package, not outside the class, not outside the package. Default is visible only within the class and within the package. Protected member is visible within the class, within the package, as well as outside the package only if you use inheritance and call by the subject class. Fourth one, public, which is the last one, it is accessible everywhere, within the class, within the package, outside the class, outside the package, with the use of a subchild or without the use of a subchild. Got it? So these were the 4 access modifiers in Java. If you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. मुझे comment section में बताओ what is the best part that you like and what you want to improve and what's the next topic you want video. And make sure to subscribe to the channel and share among your friends. Till then, we'll see you in the next video.